Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. This is Astral Trespassing. Before we get into it, just want to mention Patreon. If you'd like to support Astral Club on Patreon, when you join, you get advanced episodes on Sunday, a library of downloaded episodes for your podcast app, and a Patreon email where we can talk back and forth. And for Patreon members who support me on Patreon, there's also now a new chat where we can kind of chat back and forth, and that's a lot of fun. I usually post something every day, get some questions, we talk back and forth. Just, it's a blast. So if you're interested, you'll find a link in the description. Next up is private lessons. If you'd like a lesson to learn how to astral project, be glad to work with you. All you have to do is go to the description. There's an email there, and send me a request for more information on astral projection lessons. Okay. Astral trespassing. This is a question that comes up from time to time. People want to know, am I allowed to astral project to this place or that place? It's not the easiest question to answer, but I'll do my best. I've noticed that for experienced projectors, a lot of this kind of follows the vampire rules. In folklore, which always is interesting where folklore gets these things from. In folklore, a undead or vampire individual cannot cross into your private home, your private space, unless you invite him in. There's similarity to that with astral projection. Now, first of all, any public place that regularly welcomes the public, you are certainly free to astral project to. You want to project to some tourism traps, you go to the pyramids, go to the Eiffel Tower, go to the Roman Colosseum, go to the Great Wall of China. All those places are wide open, and there's no problem with visiting them because they're open to the public, physical and astral for that matter. If there is a private space that you had previously been invited to and that invitation was never rescinded, you can also visit there as well without incurring any sort of difficulties or problems. However, when we're talking about private spaces where you have not been invited, there's a little bit more it's a little bit more complex, a little bit more complicated. You've seen me go on to a military base or two, and I've told you my particular experiences. It seems like some of our top secret places actually have countermeasures, electronic countermeasures to prevent or help prevent folks in the astral from penetrating that security. There's also guards of a certain type hanging out, for instance, in the White House. And I believe also, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that they're guarding the Vatican as well. And I was discussing this on the Patreon chat with Joseph R., who was asking whether he could, go into the Vatican to explore their libraries. And I told him that I know I couldn't do it and get away scot-free because now that I'm experienced and I have a relationship with my guide, I will be penalized. I won't be able to just get away with, oh, I didn't know that was against the rules kind of thing. So I would be penalized. And one of the penalties might be suppressing my ability to project for some period of time. I mean, that can definitely happen. And of course, if you're going to try to penetrate those kind of places, like the White House, I know from experience, or perhaps the Vatican with all their huge amount of documents they've got squirreled away in secret, is that you're going to have to deal with the guards that they have there as well. And I'm not talking about the Swiss guards and their funny uniforms. I'm talking about other types of guards. And, I told Joseph R. that, hey, I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. So if you want to trespass in the Vatican, go for it. Maybe you'll get away with it. Who knows? And just if you're caught, don't snitch on me. That's all I care about. Remember, astral snitches get astral stitches. Don't forget that. But seriously speaking, when you start projecting, you've got a lot of leeway. You can get into a lot of places that you really shouldn't be able to get into. You can trespass all you want. However, don't be surprised if somewhere along the line you find out that you've been racking up some bad points. Because eventually, if you continue to project, you're going to start establishing relationships. You might meet up with your guide, and you're going to be called on the carpet for those types of activities. Why? Because it's wrong. Someone's asking me a question that they already really know the answer to. Can they get into a house that they haven't been invited in and spy? Yes. But just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. As I said, the newer people, you're not on the radar yet, spiritually speaking. So you probably could get away with some nonsense. But just be aware that you might be called to account eventually because you know that it's wrong. You're not some ignorant child who just blundered into a private space completely oblivious to the fact. You're also going to find, though, that there are some places that you can't get into. And I'm not talking about, electronic countermeasures and military bases with UFOs in them, and I'm not talking about the astral guards hanging out in the White House. I'm talking about people who are aware, who have abilities that some people might call magic. And what they're able to do is to establish a shield around their particular space that cannot be easily penetrated, especially by some newbie astral projector. So there will be some places that you might not be able to get into. Churches, sometimes no problem. Other times, problem. I don't know what the common or the uncommon denominator is. Let's see. I mean, it would be interesting to try to get into the Vatican if you're a newbie, to see what you could find out. Just like I said, just don't mention my name. I knew one of the challenges that I had, especially in my early to mid teens, when you have all those hormones just pumping through your bloodstream, and if you were like me at 14, zero play being had, you can find yourself very sexually charged and trying to find, some way to discharge that particular energy. And you might try to do that by going into, somebody's house or what have you. Let me just give you this warning. Now, like I said, I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. But if you start feeling strong emotions like the sexual drive, what's going to happen is that is going to be transmitted through the astral cord right to your physical body, and your respiratory system and your cardio system is going to start being stimulated. Heart's going to start pumping faster. You're going to start, doing more breathing. And what that's going to do is end up pulling you right back to your physical body. So keep that in mind, especially for if anyone's listening who's in that age group, well, do your best. That's all I can tell you. I know it's not easy. Luckily, now I'm nice and old. It's real easy to keep my equilibrium for the most part. Okay, well, this is another one I just wanted to hit real quickly because it's a topic that comes up also on a regular basis. If you benefited from this, please hit the like button, share it with those of like minds, subscribe if you haven't already, and keep those questions and comments coming. What do you think about this whole thing? Have you found different rules about private spaces and trespassing in the astral? Let me know. If you have any other questions, let me know those as well. Any other comments, of course, are always welcome and help educate everybody. This is Rick, and as always, I will see you on the astral plane.